Hi guys, this is Dinesh Kumar. Today we are going to see the subject industrial safety. In that industrial safety, we are going to see the unit 15 that is safety regulations. Safety regulations is nothing but it's a rules and regulations created by a central and state government in order to safeguard the human being, in order to safeguard employees from the hazardous situations that should be occurs in the industry in and around that company. For that, India has been regularized the rules and regulations in order to safeguard the people. For that purpose, we are going to study the unit, safety and regulations. It has caused so much of loss for the human beings, for the safe for the people. For that, we are going to see the unit safety regulations. In the safety regulations, we are going to see the topic explosives. It's nothing but if a chemical component is exposed to a human being, in whatever level they want to be exposed from the industry, there should be some of the limits is there, higher limit and lower limit. If it comes under the lower limit, that only the company has been operated, or else the company should be banned for the production. For that purpose, the explosions is the most important topic in the safety regulation. If a gas or a dust, therefore there has been described a consequence of the fast combinations of the gas dust mixture with the air. Nothing but if you're working in a company, chemical company, it will cause us the gas. That gas is mixed with air. It will be spread into the environment. Because some of the people have been exposed to the high gas. That because of that some of the people have been affected due to the gas. It should be avoided. For that purpose, there is a limit has been fixed, upper and lower limit. Okay. In order to avoid a hazardous situation in and around the company, that limits have been fixed. Some of the alarms also fixed in the industry in order to avoid an accident. So that if you are working near that noise created the noise pollution in and around a company, that level should be up to the mark, or else it will affect our eardrums. Due to that affected, some of them have been lost the hearing sense, so that it should having some of the limit. In the topic, we are going to see the element of an explosion. When a flame gas escapes, or a flame of liquid, or a vapor leakage, or flame dust disappears in the working environment. If it spread into the environment, it will cause us the explosive. It's nothing but the flammable gas escape from the industry. It will travel for a some of the distance in and around the industry. Some of them have been cooking that in the home. It will cause us the damage. It will cause us the hazard. It will cause us the accidental death, the human being. So that it should be avoidable. The flammable gas should be escape from the company or industry. You should be avoidable. For that, if you're having a flammable gas, that material which mixed with the some of the component, it will come converted into inflammable gas. That should be treated by the company itself. Then only it will avoid that so much of causes depend upon the flammable gas should be avoided. It will make the employees to work without fear. So this case has been taken inside the company itself. Okay, for that purpose, they are having a fixed some of the limits, upper and lower limit. If the flammable level of the air is so higher, definitely the company want to take care and then they want to process the flammable gas into inflammable level. Or else the flammable gas itself causes the flame in the industry itself. It will goes to the fire accident in the industry itself. so that it should be avoided. For that purpose, the government has been given some of the limits to the upper and lower limit. For that, if we have flammable gas substance we are using, no, that lower limit of the natural gas is 5%, upper limit of the flame gas is 30%. Propane, the chemical, 1 to 5%, and upper limit is 9 to 5%. Acetylene, 2 to 5%, and then 81%. That is 81 percentage. Sugar, there should be a 30 grams per meter cube. Then for us, 30 grams per meter cube. This is the range. If it crosses the lower limit, or else if it crosses the higher limit, the flame can be exposed. Sugar is a very good flammable component, so that if it crosses the lower limit, it will expose to flame very easily. So that depend upon the limit, if it crosses, it will be highly dangerous to the human being's life. So that it should be very avoided in order to safeguard the human being. Although the explosion happened at the blink of an eye, it's nothing but that explosion is nothing but accident may cause within the blink of the eye. In a fraction of seconds, the explosion is occurred. For example, if that flammable gases, it will be mixed with the air. If anybody is cooking in and around that, the gas reaches that cooking room, it will cause a danger. It will cause a fire. At the time itself, the home has been fired. The rooftop got fire due to the incident. So that it should be avoided. If it's not avoided, it causes a huge accident in and around the company. Also, generate heat may cause a secondary fire. The flame will gas escaping from the company, it will cause a secondary fire. It burns and secondary structural collapse and damages. It's nothing but some of that material they can't stabilize and the flame will gas react with the component. For example, if your building has been heated too much of heating, and the building got damaged. Due to that, the building has been broken and then fell on the human being, caused that damage to the human being. Some of that wires, electric wires, they can't able to stabilize for a huge heat. It will cause a shock to the people. Okay, it will cause a fire. During the summertime, the AC cables have been fired. It will cause the electrical fire. It will cause a huge amount of component has been damaged due to that. Yeah, some of the time it will cause the human life into danger. So that properly it should be maintained. A typical irritation should be caused due to the flaming gas. Okay, irritation is nothing but our eye got irritation. Some of the ignition sources also should be needed. Up to that level, it will cause the fire. So that the range should be maintained proper. Then only it will work proper. Okay, a little lightning source it causes means if you are exposed to the gas, flaming gas, a little spark within a blinking of seconds, it will cause that fire has been exposed and then cause the accident in the human being. So that it should be avoided. There are so much of various type of sources to be found in the European standard in order to avoid the explosives. For that, the European, as per the legislation, the Council Directive 1999/92 EC, they have been passed an act, Act 137. It's a law. It will be the rules and regulations that will pass in the European in 1990s. Due to that law, the people has been protected from the workplace at the risky fire explosive atmosphere. So that the European nation frames a law and then they will recommend the people to follow that to safeguard the employees. Depend upon that, huge accidents should be avoided. Likewise, they improve the safetyness and health protections to the people, those who are working in the company. So that for that purpose only this law has been framed. Due to that, large explosive has been avoided. The explosive in the atmosphere of the flammable gas should be avoided. The ignitions of the atmosphere has been avoided due to that law. Due to that, the employee health and safetyness should be increased. The risky level of the people has been reduced. Hazardous area classification. How we will identify that the area has been hazardous. For that, the label is there no. If you are seeing that EX is a triangular mark, that sign indicates that this area is containing a flammable material. That the flammable materials are like that of liquid, vapor, gas, or flammable dust. For that indication, EX, that triangle symbol has been used. That in that symbol will tells that it having explosives. If you are going there with a flammable, it should be avoided. For that indication purpose, in the industries, they will place that this type of the symbols, they will be kept on that explosives before that. The people, those who are working there, they will identify that symbol. They can be very careful when they are going their places. Then that spaces has been separated into zones. What the reason? No, in order to avoid that unavoidable accident. For example, we have separated that company in that flammable and inflammable zone. In that flammable zone, again it should be divided. Zone 0, zone 1. What the reason is there? No, zone 0, it will containing the gases, flammable gases and substance and mist. Flammable mist present continuously for a long period. It having a higher concentration there. It should be there in the zone 1. The zone 0. In zone 1, the explosives of the atmosphere condition mixing with the flame substance in the form of gas. There the component are there, the zone 0. It's a concentration of the component is very, very high in the zone 0. But in the zone 1, the level of the concentration somewhat level should be reduced. Some of the flammable content should be very much low so that the ranges are fixed. If you separate that zones, the causes of the accident should be avoided. So that while we are working the flames, we want to separate the zones, the zone 0 and zone 1. If that material is placed for a long period, it should be in the zone 0. If the vapors like that of mixtures, air flammable component like that gases are there, very low level, if we expose the atmosphere, it comes into a normal condition, then the area is classified as a zone 1. So likewise, if you are classifying the zones, we can able to avoid that unavoidable accidents such as in the industry. Okay, so that only each and every area should be separated, and then some of the indications not should be placed each and everywhere in order to identify that the explosive zone is in that explosive it is zone 0, it is zone 1, it is zone 3. Likewise, we can separate the zones in order to identifying the working level of that people become very safer. That's all. Thank you for watching that. Thank you so much.